Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Thank you for joining me wherever you're joining me. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. If you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure that you like, make sure you subscribe. We did not make our goal 3,000 subscribers by May. You know what? Let's make it by June. I'm not a prideful person. I know that people have things out there, but I know that you are listening, and I know that you're listening because I look at my analytics, and my analytics says, "Hey, people are listening," or at least for what it's worth, people are tuning in, and putting you on or keeping it on the browser, whatever it might be. With that being said, I want you guys to get out of these kids' pockets. I have seen so much said and written about these new NIL deals. And by the way, you know what? I'm not even going to jump. I'm not even going to jump ahead. I've just seen so much said. I've seen so much talked about these NIL deals and the fact that these schools are now using these NIL deals to lure in players. And I keep trying to figure out why you care. I don't know why you care because it doesn't affect you personally, right? In the end, if Jordan Addison, who was an All-American and Biletnikoff Award winner at Pittsburgh, wants to transfer from Pittsburgh because A, they have not been that good over the last, 10 years, and they caught lightning in a bottle these last couple of years to be good. If he's on the inside and he can read the tea leaves and say, man, probably not going to be as good as we were last year. My quarterback just went in the first round. My wide receivers coach is now over at Texas. Who knows who else might be on the move? There might be some retooling, rebuilding coming. So if I can now, because of the ability to transfer without sitting out, if I can now go onto the open market and be able to figure out where I'm going to go next, that would land me a deal that, regardless if I ever make it to the NFL, can change my life and my family's life. Why would I not do that? Why would that not be a thing? And better yet, why would any of you care, ladies and gentlemen? I'm here on Monday with some fresh hate. The audacity of you people out there trying to shame this situation, trying to make this situation seem like it's a bad thing. Like this is bad for college football. This is the same college football that Alabama puts hundreds of millions of dollars into facilities, coaches, strength and conditioning, everything to lure kids in. Oh, well, that's for them. Yeah, it is. It is. But ask a kid in an honest moment, hey, would you rather train and work out in $100 million facilities, or would you rather have a few $100,000 in your pocket? If you ask players in an honest moment what they'd rather do, hey, give them just regular old facilities, nothing crazy, state of the art. Give them the facilities that they had in high school, but they're all going to be paid $100,000, $200,000 every year. Ask them. I know the answer. They'll take the money, right? Because the facilities are great. But once you graduate, do you still have lifelong access to those facilities? Can you come and go as you please? And I don't know the answer. Can you come and go as you please to those facilities? Can those facilities buy groceries? Can they pay rent? Can they help you open up your own business? None of that is possible. So for a guy like Jordan Addison to say, hey, you know what? My stock is never going to be higher than it is right now. And for what it's worth, I was just the #1 wide receiver in college. I just watched 1 billion wide receivers go early in the draft. I was not able to do that because I'm not old enough. So here's the suggestion. Here's how you solve the problem of these young men using the NIL system, or schools, colleges using the NIL system in order to lure players from one school to their school. Here's how you solve the problem. Allow these kids to go pro. Stop making them stay in school for 3 years. Stop using the college system as a feeder system for the NFL, where they get an opportunity to evaluate and get rid of talent without any compensation. The NFL does not pay college football anything to help support themselves. The NFL doesn't pay college football a dime in order to train, develop, and educate these young men that then in turn go and populate their sport. This isn't like basketball where, yeah, we get kids from college, but we also get kids from all over the world. The NFL, 99% of their players that are on rosters are coming from college programs. 99%. So if the overwhelming majority of the product is coming from somewhere that you don't have to pay for in order for it to be developed, what are we talking about here, right? The same people who will stare you in the face until they're blue, right? And talk about free enterprise and freedom of speech and the ability to be able to pull yourself up by your bootstraps are the same people that are saying that this is wrong. Why? Because their team doesn't take advantage of this. If their team was the one who was able to allure or attract these high-profile, high-end players to come transfer to their school, then they wouldn't have a problem with it. The only issue high-end players to come transfer. The only issue that we have is the fact that these kids are going to schools that have the means to set up a windfall financially for the kid. And some idiot somewhere tries to stand on the, oh, well, it's an unfair advantage. Hey, newsflash, people, it's always been an unfair advantage. It's always been an unfair advantage, and yet nobody has ever said a word. Nobody has ever been like, you know what, we shouldn't do this. This is an unfair advantage. We shouldn't be giving teams and schools an unfair advantage when they all should be on level playing field. Well, if we know that we know that they all should be on a level playing field, right? And they're not all on a level playing field, then what does that say about us? We don't care that they're not on a level playing field. The only time we care is when the kids are profiting. That's what we care about. And by the way, we don't even care everywhere. We only really care in football and in basketball. And why do we only care in football and basketball? Why is it that we don't care about gymnasts that are making all of this money off their endorsement deals? Why do we not care about the other female players that are making all their money off their endorsement deals? Why do we not care about the pianist that makes $100,000 a year while going to school on scholarship because they play in for various people? Why do we not care about that? I'll tell you why we don't care. Because basketball and football are the two sports that are predominantly populated by people who look like me. And it always seems to be an issue when the young brothers are getting money. For years, anytime it was found that a poor black player took money, they were vilified. Y'all people actually sat here with a straight face and tried to turn Reggie Bush into a criminal. With a straight face, you tried to turn Cam Newton into a criminal. However, the gentleman who blew the whistle on SMU, oh well, you know, he wasn't a criminal, he was disgruntled. He was a whistleblower. We don't even go as far as to legislate how we treat these things the same. You try to throw Zion Williams under the bus. When he was at Duke, and people tried to throw him under the bus. They wanted to know so bad, did he take money? Did he take money? Meanwhile, by the way, because of his online presence, it had been talked about that he would have been making millions just off of his Instagram and YouTube followers. Millions. He didn't need an NIL deal. He was going to make, if he just had the ability to make that money, because he had millions of followers, he was going to make that money. So this idea that, oh my gosh, we have to do something. We have to change these NIL deals. We have to do something about this because these young men are making money. And heaven forbid they make money. Oh, well, you know, the young man is going to make more money this year if he goes to USC than he would than the number 2, a second round wide receiver does in the NFL. Why does that have anything to do with him? He didn't regulate rookie salaries in the NFL so that rookies only made a certain amount of money. He didn't put it in place to where rookies stayed poor in the NFL comparative to the veterans. The NFL did that. And the NFL's Player Association, which is one of the weakest, went along with it. What does that have to do with the college kid that figures out that they're never going to be higher than what they are right now? Because guess what's going to happen next year? Next year, he's going to go out there and he may not put up the same type of numbers that he put up this year. And instead of celebrating all of his physical prowess Instead of celebrating all the things that he does right, instead of celebrating all of his accomplishments, people are going to nitpick at all his flaws. They're going to tell you all the things he can't do all next year. They're going to tell you all the ways that he needs to get better all next year. And what is that going to do in the eyes of the people? It's going to devalue him. And what if he then goes from being what would have been assuredly a first-round pick this year to a second-round pick next year, therefore costing himself tens of millions of dollars, right? Because the difference between a first-round contract guaranteed with a fifth-year option and a second-round contract is night and day. So what if that happens? And now he's lost those millions of dollars that he's not going to get back. Well, guess what? At least he can get money now. We don't know his situation at home. But you know what that money does? It changes his life right now. I hope they're giving him a house. And I hope he's moving his entire family into it. I hope that it comes with the deed. I hope that they've said that they're going to pay the insurance on it, not just this year, but for at least 2 to 3 years afterwards. I hope that he has it set up to where he can pimp this situation into something that is a financial windfall, that if he never plays an NFL down, he's set. That's what I hope. Because it makes no sense that Justin Ross made millions or helped make Clemson millions upon millions of dollars only to get broken at Clemson, go through all of these surgeries to try to help get himself back on the field, only to be told by the NFL, well, you're kind of broken, or you were broken before and you might easily be broken again. So we can't mess with you. So you go from being one of the best wide receivers in the country as a freshman to 2 years later, not even being able to get drafted and not even being picked up as an undrafted free agent by a team that's willing to just let you come in and try it out. How much money would Justin Ross have made after his freshman year when he obliterated the best team in the country with defensive players who are all going to the league? How much money how bright would his star have been then? How much money could he have demanded in NIL deals then? But that wasn't allowed. He had to be okay with his little per diem. He had to be okay with whatever little scraps they were giving him. He had to be okay with people saying, well, you got an education, and the education, that's your payment. Are we serious? Like, are we really going to sit back here and act as if these young men don't deserve everything that they get? Were you guys out there with them in youth football where they had grown men screaming at them to go and hit people and work hard while they were living their lives out through those young kids? Were you there with them in high school where they had to be up at 5 a.m. in order to go to workouts and practice and before school and after school and meetings and fundraisers? Were you there in college where their entire day from 5 a.m. till 7 p.m. is regimented with work and school and meetings and trainings? Were you there when they were icing their back and their knee and their ankle and their groin, when they were getting treatment on their hamstrings, when they were trying to keep their shoulder in socket, when they were taking hits to the head that they'll never know the impact that it caused until they're almost probably dead and gone? Were you there? Because if you had done any of that in your life, if you had done any of that, and you have an objection to these young men making money now, as opposed to when the NFL decides they should get money, then you're just a hater. Simple and plain. I just watched all of these running backs who were murderers in college, killing it in college, be told by people that the running back position is devalued, and so none of you guys are going to go in the first round. And most of you aren't even going to go in the second round. And now we're talking about third round and fourth round money, where you're surrounded by millionaires, but you're still living like a thousandaire. Because once you pay the agent and the lawyer and taxes and everything else, you only have enough money to be able to try to survive and exist. Like, what are you people talking about? You know the difference? You know the difference of making millions of dollars at 18, 19, and 20 will make for somebody as they go into the professional world? They can make those mistakes in a situation where they're cocooned. They can make the mistakes with the money in a situation where it won't hurt them. If a guy gets $1 million NIL deal and he blows all his money in college, guess what? He's still in college. He's still isolated. He can learn from those mistakes. But when he does it in the NFL and then he gets cut, guess what? The lesson that he learned was, hey, never, the next person that gets this opportunity, tell them to not do this again. But in college, they can learn, oh, probably shouldn't do that next time. So then the next year when they get money, guess what? They don't make the same mistakes. Or they've gone through that phase where they just blow money because they've never had money before. So now they've seen that, they've been there, done that. There are no losers in this. If the player gets money that they've earned, that they've deserved, and the team gets a player that can help them win the games, then who's the loser? I didn't see anybody talking when these guys were going to Alabama, when they went into the transfer portal, when they were going to Ohio State, when they entered the transfer portal. Are you only mad because there's money attached to it? Do you only want to change the NIL deal? Like, I've seen this, by the way. I've seen them try to want to change it. Well, I wish they would put it into a pool so that all the players get it. Why? Why should my fame, what I've done to elevate my star feed people who have not done anything to elevate theirs? If you want to curate NIL deals for everybody to take advantage of, cool. Don't try to take my money and give it to other people. Don't have me make that. You know what that is? That is the definition of a pimp. Hey, you go work. I'm going to take all your money and then I'm going to pass it out and I'm going to tell you, hey, listen, this is for all of us. This money that you made off your back, this is for all of us. What kind of sense does that make? If you want to go out, if these schools want to go out and they want to broker deals to give money to everybody, I'm all for that. Congratulations. Thank you. But the moment you start going into the pockets of the players to take their money out and then pass it around to others, well, guess what? Now, did that person really have control? Or have you had an opportunity to take the control back? If you start trying to limit the amount of money that these players are making, Do these players have control? Or have you taken the control back? Are you now going to try to vilify them again because they made more money than what was allowed? Just let them go pro. And then all of this ends. All of this goes away. But I swear, if I hear one more of you mouth breathers out there talking about they're going to have to do something about this NIL. Oh, these kids can't be just, shut up. These coaches jump from team to team to team. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I'm a coach. You know what you're supposed to do when you build a program up and you feel like you've gotten to the point where you either can't build it up anymore or you can't sustain it? You gotta go. Because if you don't, you are not maximizing your potential. These are businesses. Do I fault the coaches for leaving? No. I don't fault the coaches for leaving. I do think sometimes their timing's a little bit but I don't fault them for leaving. And you know why I don't fault them for leaving? Because I understand that they're trying to do what's best for their long-term viability. But if I'm not going to be mad at these coaches for leaving, then I 100% applaud these players for leaving. They were leaving for free. Think about this. There's a good chance that young man was going to leave Pittsburgh anyway. Your wide receiver coach is gone. Your quarterback is gone. You're probably not going to be as good next year because the rest of the league is going to be better and you've lost a lot of key contributors. The defense had been around, had a lot of super duper seniors out there. You were probably not going to be as good. Your production is going to fall. Guess what? He was probably going to leave anyway. You're mad because he's leaving to get money? That's just a hater. And why are you in this young man's pockets? What he makes don't have anything to do with you. It's not hurting you at all. So if it doesn't hurt you, then why should you care? Ladies and gentlemen, that's Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. You do this thing a few times a week. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. If you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Those on Facebook and Twitter, I appreciate you. Until next time, peace. Hey, shout out Thomas Cornish. I see you.